Hey guys, welcome to our weekly Topaz stream. Got tons to go over today, and happy to let you guys know I finally got a proper streaming setup now. So really happy to be streaming now with this proper setup. Also got a new little friend here I'm watching for now. Hopefully she doesn't make too much noise during the AMA. But yeah, got tons to go over today. We just released an exciting new product yesterday that I'm going to go over in detail, and I got a couple other releases that are I'm going to be unveiling to you guys today as well. Hey, what's up? All right, let's dive right into it. Let me know how my audio is. I assume you guys can probably hear me pretty good with this new mic setup, but definitely let me know. All right. Just because we have more people usually joining near the end of the AMAs, I'm going to leave the most exciting stuff and the announcements closer to the end. Let's talk first about just some of the momentum that we've had recently. So here's our Topaz chart. We had about 150% pump about 2 days ago. Really welcome pump. This is Topaz is still a very attractive price here at we're at around 190K market cap or 1.7 mil. Fully diluted, still an excellent buy here. And this is the price that our community is going to be aiming to hold. This is, a price that we feel is still vastly undervalues Topaz and, what Topaz is capable of, and even just what Topaz is doing based on its current metrics right now. So we as a community are, we're all actively buying at these levels. And this is a great time to share the protocol with your friends, your family, and anyone else in the crypto space. And luckily, some of the the things that I'm going to be talking about today, some of the new releases make it easier for new people to get in, which is always something that we're working to improve. Great audio. Awesome. All right. So yeah, we had a token pumped about 150% 2 days ago. As most of you guys probably know, that really helps with our APRs. I mean, the way that we attract liquidity is with our emissions, and our emissions are paid out in Topaz. So the better the Topaz price is doing, the more liquidity we can attract, which therefore allows us to generate more fees. And that's, a big part of the flywheel right there is just, attracting more TVL, in the right places, getting that efficient liquidity. You guys know we've done over 1.2 billion in volume with just a little bit over 1 million TVL. I got the stats somewhere here. We're at it's a little bit shy of 1.5 mil TVL, and we've done 1.23 billion in volume. So, yeah, and something else that's pretty incredible is, if you look at the token holders of Topaz, our ratio of locked tokens is insane on Topaz. The number one holder of Topaz is the VE Topaz contract. So this is where Topaz go when you buy Topaz and lock it up for VE Topaz. We just had our epoch rollover, a little bit less than 24 hours ago. So that, it puts a lot of tokens into the reward contracts to pay out the weekly emissions. So this was actually almost 91%. You guys can't see that. So we're at 88.97% of all Topaz is locked in VE Topaz right now. And, we got another 13 million of emissions that just went into reward contracts yesterday. So that's, a big chunk of those outstanding Topaz. So it's really incredible to see such a high percentage of Topaz locked. It shows the commitment and the understanding of the community of what is coming. And, a lot of these liquid Topaz that are, entering the market through emissions or through, basically through emissions is the only way that they hit the, are minted and released. Other than rebases and a couple other small things. But yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to see such a high percentage of those tokens get locked up. So I expect that to continue, expect to, keep that around the 90% mark. And, for comparison, Arrow's, I believe, right around 50%. They've, had 50% of their tokens locked up in VE Arrow. So amazing stuff, guys. Some other quick things I want to go over before we get into some of the new products that we've released is that we're going to be starting traditional marketing for Topaz. And this kind of ties in with some of the things that I'm going to be talking about that we're releasing that are making it easier for regular users to get into Topaz, get involved with VE Topaz, start earning weekly rewards, but without a lot of those barriers to entry. So We're going to be starting some traditional marketing. We've got some campaigns that we're starting to set up with both Galaxy and Merkle. So those are two like crypto native projects, or yeah, I guess projects where you can basically set up campaigns to reward users for different activities. So Merkle is more like for like on-chain activity, where we could like give bonus rewards to users for doing various activities like providing liquidity, perhaps for locking Topaz. I'll have to look into that, but definitely for like providing liquidity, we can provide extra incentives on top. And I mean, the main purpose of a campaign like that would really be to just raise awareness, to get more eyes on Topaz, and have more liquidity providers from, you know, whether they be from BNB chain or from another chain, to, you know, discover Topaz and see the opportunity to provide liquidity at Topaz and, you know, earn outsized rewards. So expect those to be coming up in the near future. And Galaxy, you know, Galaxy is something that we've done in the past with previous projects, like Bomb Money is one that we used Galaxy pretty extensively with. Galaxy is a great way to like, actually, I'll show you guys. Galaxy is basically like a way to reward either on-chain activity, or you can have campaigns where you need people to like follow your X account and, you know, interact with X and do various other things that help spread the word. And what you can do after that is you can either give a reward to all the participants, or that, you know, you can basically enter a competition where, you know, a certain number of people win a prize, and like to enter, you have to, you know, meet these requirements, such as, you know, retweeting a post, replying to a post, following the X, maybe some on-chain activity. So again, this is something that we've used extensively in the past. We got accounts. I got a space set up that has, I think, a couple 100,000 followers, and we can rebrand that to Topaz. So that's what I'm actually working on right now. Just well, not right now, but I'm getting Galaxies all set up for Topaz with some of our existing established Galaxy spaces that we had. So again, expect that to be coming up soon. One other thing I wanted to show you guys before I jump into the releases is, let's look at the vaults. Vault TVL is going up 23.85K in the vaults. Again, just to go over it again real quick, we did have a security incident about 2 weeks ago, and that has been completely addressed. The vaults, the concentrated liquidity vaults, have all been redeployed. That was, you know, you can, if you want to learn anything about that, you can just come over to the vaults.topazdex.com site and click on claims. This kind of explains what happened here. But yeah, essentially, you know, there was a small loss of funds. The protocol fully 100% compensated all impacted users, and we've relaunched all the vaults. They're all secure now. They're based on the latest code from Beefy, and they do not have that issue that was able to be taken advantage of a couple weeks ago. So vaults are safe to use. All users are made 100% whole. So happy to have that behind us, and it's good to see the TVL starting to climb again. One thing worth mentioning here is that actually, okay, this looks like it did catch up. Our APRs on the vault site, they're actually based on like the actual real value of rewards that are flowing into the vault. So because of that, it is a little bit lagged behind the regular APR display. So for example, when our epoch rolled over, we got a ton of additional emissions on the Sol USDT gauge or pool. And this APR that we're showing here is actually lower than the real APR, because it's calculating this based off like the actual rewards that it's receiving, whereas like our other interfaces are calculating the APR based off like what the actual emissions are. So the vault is a little bit slower to catch up. I might see if I can change that to make it catch up a little bit quicker. Because yeah, I mean, the APR is definitely higher than 243% right now, but it just, like I said, it takes some time to catch up. Hey, what's up? Topaz bullish. Yes, sir. All right. So yeah, it's great to see the vaults picking up action. And yeah, this is a great way to just set it and forget it and provide liquidity, you know, make Topaz more liquid and more, you know, just have more TVL and more liquidity in a lot of these key blue chip pools. And it's a great way to grow your assets in crypto. And again, that's at vaults.topazdex.com. We also have links to this on we have links to this on our main site and on our DApp as well. So if you look in the menu here, we got the vaults link there now. So let's get into some of the releases that I have just put out. Just found Topaz, seems pretty cool. When did this DEX launch? We're about 2.5 months old, I want to say. Well, our Topaz, oh yeah, DEX screener doesn't show the age of our Topaz pairs. Yeah, I think we're in, what are we in, Epoch 9, I think? So yeah, just a little over 2 months. Great entry here. It looks like the chart's just starting to reverse, and you know, we're generating great fees, doing great volume, and metrics are improving. So definitely a great time to take a look at Topaz now. Let's go. All right. So yeah, let's jump into the first thing that I'm going to reveal for you guys today. The latest thing that we've built, one of the latest things that we built, and that is Topaz Flow. Now, what is Topaz Flow? You might be wondering. So firstly, for anyone paying close attention, we did announce this publicly to the community. This is something that we announced yesterday, and this is going to become a big part of the Topaz ecosystem. So essentially what Topaz Flow is, and I'm just going to explain this for you guys because a lot of you guys are, I think, probably familiar with the protocol. Then I'll get into some of the, you know, I guess I'll explain it a little bit simpler after. But essentially, this is a layer on top of the Topaz USDT relay. So what is that, you might be asking? It's this guy right here. So this Topaz compound plus USDT relay, we built a layer on top of that that is basically, it just makes it super simple for anyone to enter this position and to manage and maintain their position. So, you know, prior to us releasing Topaz Flow, essentially for a new user to start earning weekly with our relays, and again, basically like, just trying to think of where I should start this just to kind of make it make sense for everybody. Essentially, let me just back up a little bit, just for anyone that's new here. Topaz is the token of Topaz DEX. The main utility of Topaz is to lock Topaz for VE Topaz. VE Topaz is vote escrow Topaz that essentially lets you earn voting rewards and bribes and help to dictate and vote on where emissions in the future should go. Now, what our relays are is basically a layer on top of the VE Topaz voting and reward collecting aspect of the DEX, and relays just kind of simplify all of that for you. So the Topaz Maxi relay is where you would deposit VE Topaz if you want to just grow your VE Topaz position as big as possible, which is a great thing to do right now with the Topaz price where it's at. This is the time to be accumulating. And right now, a lot of people are already doing this. You guys can see like almost 90% of all Topaz is locked in VE Topaz. And that number is just increasing all the time, other than obviously our epoch rollovers where it drops down a little bit. But overall, the long-term trend is that, you know, we keep getting more and more Topaz locked up. The community understands the opportunity, and, you know, this Topaz Flow and, you know, these AMAs and just explaining the stuff is, you know, hopefully getting other people to understand the opportunity here as well with VE Topaz. But yes, the Topaz Maxi relay is the one that you want to go into if you just want to grow your VE Topaz position as big as possible. The Topaz compound plus USDT, this is an interesting take on a relay because it's really, it's interesting, right? So the way that this works is, so again, the relay is voting on your behalf essentially, and it's managing the rewards that it receives on your behalf to automate it for you. So going back to the Topaz Maxi, what that's doing is it's taking all the Topaz that it receives in bribes and fees, it's compounding that to grow the size of the position, but all of the actual trading fees that it receives, it's swapping those trading fees into Topaz and using that Topaz to also further increase the size of your VE Topaz positions. So this is like the best way to get as much VE Topaz as possible would be the Topaz Maxi. A lot of people, they want to get paid weekly, right? They want to see something, they want some funds to work with, whether they want to buy something or they want money to live off, pay bills or whatever it might be, or just invest in other things or to start LPing, whatever you might want to use your funds for. the Topaz compound plus USDT relay, what that one's doing is it's taking all the Topaz that it receives and it's compounding that to grow the size of the Topaz position or the VE Topaz position. But all of the fees that it takes in, everything that's not Topaz token, it's converting that or swapping that all to USDT and making that USDT claimable for you. So it's kind of like, it doesn't put any sell pressure on Topaz because all the Topaz that it receives, it's using that to compound the size of the position. But everything that's not Topaz, you get paid out in USDT. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds in that you can, get paid on a weekly basis, and you also have a position that's growing, so you're always able to earn more and more in future weeks. So now that I've explained what relays are, basically, well, actually, let me now talk about like how a user would typically enter a relay. So just say like I told like my good friend, hey buddy, you got to really check out Topaz. You can get paid USDT every single week. You just got to jump into that Topaz compound plus USDT relay. Well, so they've got to take, whether they got BNB or USDT, whatever asset they might have, they got to take that, they got to swap it to Topaz. They've got to lock the Topaz, right? So I'll kind of show you guys. They got to swap for Topaz. They got to take, once they have Topaz, they got to go lock it. And after they lock it, finally, they can jump into the relay and then deposit into the relay. So they got to swap for Topaz. They got to lock their Topaz and they got to deposit into the relay. Now, what Topaz Flow does is it basically automates and simplifies that entire process for you. So this is a layer on top of the Topaz compound plus USDT relay. It breaks down very simply, when the next payouts come in, how much you're going to get paid, what kind of APR you're getting paid in USDT, what kind of APR you're getting paid in Topaz. This is what's growing your position itself. And again, this is a layer on top of the relay. There's no fees for this, right? Like this is something that's just, it's kind of like if you imagine like the relays are here and the user is here and you're typically like interacting directly with the relay, Flow is like a contract that sits like right in between those two, right? And all it's doing is kind of just like, it's like a translator, you could say, or like a middleman in a sense where it's not taking any fees for its service, but it's just making your life easier in terms of like, you can zap into a position with any token you want, right? So you can, I got no assets in this wallet, but you can take BNB and it's telling me I'm going to get 4,676 Topaz. Well, that's going to actually not only give me Topaz, it's going to give me a position in the relay. So I can go from BNB to being deposited in the relay all in one shot. And actually, I'll show you guys something pretty cool. I didn't realize this wallet that I'm on, I'll be able to show you guys some of the extra things that Topaz Flow can do to just kind of simplify your lives. So the way that relays work is if you wanted to deposit multiple times in the same week, like once you deposit once, you can't take that lock back out until next week, until like the epoch flips, right? So if you want to add to your position, you'd have to keep depositing another lock, right? Then if I deposit a second lock today, and then I want to deposit again tomorrow, I'm going to have 3 locks, right? And then if I want to deposit again the day after, I'm going to have 4 locks. And that's because like once you deposit into the relay, you can't take it out till the next epoch. So this can be a bit of a pain for people to manage manually. So Topaz Flow kind of like takes care of all of this for you. So you can actually see here, if the text isn't too small, on this position that I got right here, I actually have 764K Topaz deposited, but this is something that doesn't matter to regular users, but I'm just going to use this to demonstrate for you guys what this is doing. So I actually deposited 7 times during the previous epoch. So it under the hood is managing 7 locks for me. Although because of the way that we designed Topaz Flow to be like ultra simple and easy to use, easy to understand, it's abstracting away all of that complexity, right? So it's showing me my deposited number as just a single amount, right? So this is how much I've deposited as a whole. This is how much I've gained as a whole, right? This is how much USDT I can claim. Now, this USDT under the hood, this is actually coming from 7 different locks that I deposited last week, right? But that complexity is abstracted away with Topaz Flow. So what I can do now is I can compound. So I have $7 of USDT available from last week. I can claim out my USDT. I will have already gained that 15,000 Topaz that I've already grown the position by just by being in here for the last week. And the cool thing is if I go to compound this, actually, you know what, let's claim I just canceled that. That's why this is showing you. I'm just trying to think of the best way to demonstrate this for you guys. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing either way. But what I want to show you guys is that when I go to make a deposit this epoch, it's actually going to consolidate those 7 locks that it made for me last week into just being one lock, right? So this is like, it couldn't do it last epoch because of how the underlying protocol works, you can't withdraw from a relay after you deposit. You can't withdraw in the same epoch. So now that these locks can actually be withdrawn from the relay, it'll actually be able to merge them all into one lock, just so it's right. Because like we don't want people to have like hundreds and hundreds of locks in Topaz Flow in the relay. There's no reason for that, right? So again, this is really just abstracting away all the complexities that a regular user would have to deal with if they were, working with the relay, depositing multiple times in the same epoch. Then they have to consolidate their positions after into one lock. And again, it's just doing all that for you. Let's just go ahead and compound this. So it's going to take that $7 of USDT. It's going to buy Topaz with that. It's going to add that to my position. And you'll notice now, so that all happened like super quick, but you'll notice this doesn't say anything about 7 locks anymore. So I actually only have 1 lock now. And again, this is something that regular users don't have to pay any attention to. I'm just kind of showing you guys some like the cool, like technical aspects of how this works under the hood. That like, it basically took my 7 locks and it merged them all together and it added to the lock and then it redeposited in the relay. So let's refresh this. So you guys will notice up here that the growth accrued went down to 0. But if you look at your actual user stats here, you'll see that I've compounded 14.98K Topaz. Or sorry, I didn't compound. That's how much I've gained just by being in the relay. And then I've also compounded 772 of USDT. And you get a nice little history here of everything that's going on. So you can see that I've consolidated 7 locks into one, and I compounded. This all happened together at the same time in the same transaction. But like, just to show you guys how crazy this is, there was 730 events on this transaction. Like, that's absolutely wild. And it burned 7 or 6 VE Topaz positions because it merged everything all together into one. I got this cat here trying to drink my water. So this is the 6 positions that it burned. Like, it didn't burn them. It basically merged them all into one, which then in turn burns those positions. This cat's got to go. All right. So yeah, pretty wild stuff. I think these transactions can get, yeah, so 28 cents of gas because there's just so much going on in these transactions. So yeah, that's pretty crazy with BNB's cheap gas to pay 28 cents in gas. But again, that's because there was 700 and some odd events that occurred in this transaction. So we're actually limiting, again, I'm talking about some stuff that's probably not ultra important, but you're able to add to your position up to 10 times in 1 week. So you can have up to 10 locks that it's managing for you. The next epoch or the next week, when you go to deposit, it's going to merge all those together into one, but it actually won't let you have more than 10 at any given time. So yeah, you're basically, the only limitation is you can't deposit more than 10 times in one single week or one epoch. And again, the reason for that is the gas is just getting too crazy to like merge all those locks together. There's already a crazy amount of events or logs, and there's already, the gas is starting to really add up even with just 7. So that's why we limited that to 10. But yeah, I'm super excited about Topaz Flow. I think this is like, I've said this before, but I think that VE Topaz, especially at these levels, is like, one of the best investments that you can make in crypto. It's going to pay you out every single week. As Topaz picks up more momentum, more traction, as crypto markets, broader crypto markets start to, pick up steam again in the future, there's no question Topaz will be generating a ton more fees, doing a ton more volume, and VE Topaz is how you position yourself to take advantage of that, especially at these entry prices that we're at right now, at around 1/4 cent. Is your cat's name Topaz? No, I'm actually watching this cat for a buddy. This cat's name is Willow. It was going to be Marshmallow, but that was too much to say. But great stuff, Aaron. Thanks, man. Yeah, no, this is it's honestly, it's super exciting. So yeah, but yeah, no, again, just to go over this super quick again, like Topaz Flow is, again, such a strong investment to just buy Topaz, lock Topaz, and get paid forever every single week based off the activity and the fee generation of Topaz. So with the Topaz USDT relay, you're able to grow your position and get paid out USDT weekly. And this makes all of that insanely easy for anyone to do. And of course, this supports Topaz ID, just like all of our dApps. So yeah, very easy to use. So we're going to start pushing this a lot harder. I'll be adding this to the menus today at some point. So right now, this is all very new. I think we still have around we've got 10.8 million Topaz deposited in Topaz Flow. So that's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, we're going to start pushing this, start marketing it. And this is what I would suggest if anybody has friends that they're thinking about, getting into crypto. This is a great way to start, right? Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that you can exit your position anytime you want. So I actually just deposited. So when I compounded, that basically redeposited my position. So I can't exit until the next epoch. But assuming that you haven't deposited yet this epoch, you're always able to exit. And exiting just simply gives you your VE Topaz NFT. So you're now able to someone can get started with Topaz, get their feet wet just by zapping in some BNB, some USDT, whatever token they want. We're gonna get you in to VE Topaz with Topaz Flow. And then if you want to start voting manually in the future, or you want to go into the Topaz Maxi relay, or no matter what you want to do, or there's actually something else that you can do with your VE Topaz. It's the next thing I'm going to be showing you guys. If you want to do that, then you're always able to withdraw your position. So again, there's no downside to using Topaz Flow. Topaz Flow is the same as using the Topaz compound plus USDT relay. It's just making things easier for you. There's no fees on anything. It's just a contract middleman that's basically making your life easier. So yeah, really excited about Topaz Flow. I love the branding. I love the simplicity of it. I love how we're, displaying how, really simply what you get out of it. Although again, this is a brand new release. If you guys, I'd love to hear your feedback of if when you visit the website, can you grasp what this is about and how to use it? Or if you guys have any ideas of how we can improve this to make it easier to understand, easier to use. We always love to hear that kind of stuff. But yeah, very exciting. Let me know once you guys have played around with this a little bit, what you think about it. And again, remember, there's no disadvantage to this, right? You can pull your VE Topaz out next epoch if you want to. So definitely play around with this. And again, you can enter with Topaz, you can enter with VE Topaz, or you can enter with any supported token, or you can paste a contract address. So this is actually using 0x aggregation. Topaz has 4 liquidity pools. So if you're doing a huge zap in, you could buy in for any amount here, and you're going to be getting the same deal as what you would get on our dApp. So great stuff, Aaron, but I'm staying in my Maxi relay. Yep, definitely understand that. So yeah, so Topaz Flow. So yeah, if you guys have any feedback or ways to improve, let us know on X, let us know in our Telegram, let us know somewhere. And yeah, we're always looking for feedback. And again, this is a great investment to share with your buddies or just share in general, because this is beneficial for Topaz. The more inflows we get to Topaz, the higher the Topaz price goes, the higher our APRs go, the more TVL we can bring in, the more fees we can generate. So higher Topaz price is beneficial across the board. And this is a great investment, especially at these levels of Topaz. Willow wants to cuddle. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. So now, again, this is something that we did release or we announced yesterday. Let's now get into some announcements or some releases that we haven't talked about yet. So one of the challenges that Topaz, and I'm getting into one of them right now. One of the challenges that Topaz has had on BNB chain is there's not OpenSea doesn't, I don't think they're offering their services on BNB chain anymore. So I know with VE Topaz positions, typically you would have OpenSea available to be able to, list your list your position for sale, and like everybody, uses OpenSea on different chains for NFT transactions. So we don't have that on BNB chain. So, we've been using element.market or element.network. I forget what that site is. It's, it kind of works, but it's got some challenges to it. For one thing, like it's, you need to use like a third-party tool to be able to like see like a lot of the stats that you'd want to see. So anyways, let's just get right into what I've built for you guys. So I've built a purpose special built VE Topaz marketplace. So what this is this is your standard NFT marketplace. Obviously it's on BNB chain. It's meant specifically for VE Topaz. And the purpose of this is to give, well, the high level purpose of this is to give more liquidity to VE Topaz, to make VE Topaz more liquid, right? So what does that mean? And what does that mean for our users? I mean, for one, it means that if you're a holder of VE Topaz, it's going to be easier for you to exit that position if you choose to, right? So sometimes when you think about, locking up a token for 4 years, that scares a lot of people. But, considering the price of Topaz and the earnings of Topaz, that offsets that risk for a lot of users. But what can really offset that risk is now if you have a very liquid and active marketplace where, people know that there's always going to be offers for VE Topaz, where if they list VE Topaz at an attractive price, it's going to get eyes on it and it's going to get purchased because it's, VE Topaz listed at an attractive price. That's something that we're missing right now with, without having OpenSea, without having advanced stats about, Topaz that's listed. So this marketplace is purpose built specifically around VE Topaz. What that means is that the default sorting of the marketplace is, price per Topaz. So forget about all those scam listings that had 0 Topaz. They're not going to show up here. This is basically allows you to see like exactly what's the, what VE Topaz is listed at the biggest discount. Maybe you want to buy a couple of them. This lets you buy as many as you want all in one transaction. So you can sweep like the cheapest 2 or the cheapest 20 or the cheapest 8, whatever you want to buy, right? Right now there's only 2 listed, so I can't demonstrate exactly how that works. But yeah, I mean, this is, again, purpose built to make it super simple to see what VE Topaz is available, to be able to buy one or multiple NFTs, VE Topaz positions at the same time. And I guess like most importantly, to prevent scams and malicious actors from trying to trick users, because this is showing you exactly how much Topaz is locked, what's the exact Topaz price of that lock based on the asking price. And like it also allowed us to do other cool things like offers. You can make an offer based on, a price per Topaz. So say I'm willing to pay like, I don't know, 0.0015, right? So it's tell me right away, I'm offering 40% versus spot. Maybe I'm willing to offer a little bit more than that, right? So I'm willing to pay 20% versus spot. And I'm willing to spend up to $500, right? And I want the minimum Topaz lock to be at least 500 or something, right? So this lets you put in an offer that can it can be there for as long as you want, right? It's like you can have an offer there for a year. So the beauty of this is that, anyone that's looking to buy Topaz at a discount, they can just come in, put in an offer, and then people can sell into that offer without even having their VE Topaz listed, right? So again, it just makes VE Topaz so much more liquid. It should reduce one of the major barriers to entering VE Topaz, which is like having an illiquid position that you can't exit. Well, having a really active marketplace is going to really address that. So I always knew that we were going to do something like this, but yeah, I was just really happy to all make it come together. Can't wait to see like what this, like some of our analytics are going to be really cool to see like once we have more positions listed. And again, I think that, with our current lock bonus where you get 25% bonus right now for locking Topaz, obviously with that, it means that to buy VE Topaz on the secondary markets like this, you're going to need to have more than a 25% discount. So I think when this will become really popular will be like after the bonuses are fully exhausted, right? Like, so right now, like, typically not going to have action on a VE Topaz lock unless it's got, over 25% discount, right? It needs like that 25% discount just to bring it back to, being the equivalent of buying it fresh and locking it on our site. Will you add ClipX token to the vault? Yeah, I mean, which pool are you referring to? We can definitely look into it. Good grief, are you trying to get us rich? Yeah, something like that. Fancy stuff. You know it. Yeah, so really excited about this. I'm going to keep improving this. This is something that I'm announcing for all you guys right now. You can check this out yourself at ve.topazdex.com. I'll throw that into the chat for you guys. This is 100% functional now. The contracts that handle transactions and listings and everything, that will not be changing. I will take suggestions if you guys have ideas of how I can improve this to make it easier to interact with. I think there's some improvements we can make to the UI around making an offer. I think for the most part, it's really solid. Yeah, the only thing that's going to be improved here is just like maybe the UI is going to improve in some small ways. But yeah, this is 100% ready to go, and we'll be adding this to our menus and fully marketing this as a full Topaz product in the very near future. Actually, something else I don't even know if I mentioned to you guys, but we actually changed the design of our VE Topaz NFTs in terms of the image metadata. So this is what they actually look like now. It's very similar to before, just the color scheme is, matches up with the Topaz rebrand and reskin. And we threw a bit more information into the actual image itself, like our logo and how much Topaz is there and what lock ID it is. So yeah, this is what the actual VE Topaz NFT metadata looks like now. There's not much that we can change in this protocol after it's deployed, but one of the few things that we can change is the concentrated liquidity NFT art and also the VE Topaz NFT art. Quick question: do you have any relationship with the Aerodrome team? Nope. I think I'm very familiar with them, but familiar with the code base too. It's not the first time I've worked on similar code. But yeah, so this is again, it's available at ve.topazdex.com. And yeah, again, any suggestions that you guys have in terms of how to improve the stats or the ways to interact with this, I'm definitely happy to hear about it. Yeah, check out the site. Let me know what you guys think. Be nice once we have some activity in here and these stats start to fill out, and you can see historic prices and discounts, and yeah, pretty exciting stuff. So let's get into the next thing. I told you guys I had 2 new things for you guys today, so let's get into the next one. And of course, if you guys have any questions about Topaz Flow or the VE Topaz Marketplace, definitely let me know. So this one still needs a little bit of work in terms of the UI, but again, the contracts are 100% good to go. What I've built here is a liquidity migration tool. So what this tool does, and this is going to get added to our menus pretty soon. It's already live if you guys want to try it out, or if you guys want to check it out. I'll put the URL for this in the chat. It's just app.topazdex.com/migrate. And what this lets you do is it's going to scan your wallet for all of your V2 and V3 positions on both Uniswap and on PancakeSwap. And it's going to take those positions, and it's going to try to figure out which pool is the ideal pool to migrate to. And it's going to let you migrate all of these in just one shot, right? So just to go over this real quick, just so you guys can see what's going on. This is going from PancakeSwap V3. This is a USDT SpaceXB pool. I created these just to kind of demo this and just to show you guys. So this is a pair that does not exist on Topaz at the moment, right? So you can see here that this is giving me all the different options for Topaz concentrated liquidity pools. And the closest one to that one is the Topaz 50, right? So that's what it's suggesting there. For the other 3, you can see it doesn't say new pool, it says gauge. So these are actually already have existing pools. So if there is already a pool on Topaz DEX, especially if it has a gauge, it's going to suggest migrating into that one. If there is no gauge, it will do it strictly based on TVL. It's going to try and migrate you into the one with the highest TVL. But of course, you can just click here and you can switch this to whichever one you want. And just because of the fact that our tick spacings are not the same as PancakeSwap and Uniswap, there will be some of the position that gets refunded to you. Again, this is just like everything that we do, or the vast majority of what we do. There's no fees on any of this. Like, this is something where it's going to take your LP that's a Uniswap or PancakeSwap LP. It's going to basically convert it to be a Topaz LP, and any funds that weren't able to be fit into that Topaz LP, it's going to refund that back to your wallet. So you can actually see here, like it actually shows you exactly what the contents are of your current position and what the contents will be in your new position, and how much of the position is going to come back into your wallet as a refund, right? So this one is one that's not fitting in too easily. So it's going to return 39% to my wallet. Not ideal, but at least it's letting me migrate in a simple way. These three down here, they have a really low refund, so it's not showing them in a big way, right? So like you can see here, just only 2% of the position is going to be refunded to my wallet. See this one, it's going to be just 4%. And again, this is just a matter of the tick spacings not lining up perfectly with the source and the destination. So perfectly normal. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So I use this wallet for doing a lot of testing. So I think I already have some existing positions here, but let's just take a look. So we've got 7 positions right now, and we're going to migrate these 4 in right now. Let's go ahead and press that. So this is going to give you a quick summary. Move 4 positions to Topaz. So now I see that in my transaction summary, I can see it's going to burn 2 PancakeSwap positions, going to burn 2 Uniswap positions, and it's going to mint me 4 Topaz positions. 4 positions, move to Topaz. Beauty. So now if we go back over here and refresh, let's actually look at that transaction. So you can see it's, it's burning PancakeSwap V3 positions. It's going from Topaz DEX deployer to 0 address, and then it's minting Topaz CL positions. So yep, lots of activity in here. And yeah, it migrated my 4 positions over. Where was I? So now instead of 7 positions, I now have 3, 4, 5. I now have 11 positions. So worked flawlessly. Designer Dane. What's up, buddy? So yeah, so that's available now for everyone. I do want to clean up the look of it a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how I can improve this further, but yeah, I mean, if this just makes it so you can in one click migrate all of your PancakeSwap and Uniswap positions over to Topaz DEX. So this will be super handy for a lot of different purposes, but yeah, mainly just to get any liquidity providers over on the other big DEXs on BNB chain can now move your liquidity in just a single click. And again, that applies to if the pool already exists on Topaz, it works. If the pool doesn't exist on Topaz, it works. Now, just for user safety, there are a couple safeguards in there. Like, for example, if the pool does not yet exist on Topaz DEX, we need to be able to get like a time-weighted average price from the old pool in order to make sure that we're making the new pool without it being manipulated. So you guys might see some things come up that says like, oh, you need to have price history in order to migrate. It actually lets you solve that yourself. You can actually submit a transaction that is going to allow it to build price history. So, on one hand, I wanted to make it as easy as possible for users, but obviously with crypto and everything being decentralized and there being bad actors out there, we always have to do everything with safety and security as our #1 focus, even ahead of user ease of use. So, try to make it as easy as possible, but you may need to add price history and wait a couple minutes if you're trying to migrate something that does not yet exist on Topaz. But yeah, love for you guys to try this out and let me know any feedback that you guys have. I did have those 4 positions set up so I could demo this for you. Now I can't really look at it anymore, but I'll go set up some more positions later today to play around with it some more. Yeah, so I think overall, just the last 2 days, we've announced Topaz Flow, super bullish, great way to get people into Topaz DEX, get into VE Topaz while we're at the really close to the floor right here, in my opinion. And it's just removes all barrier to entry for what I feel is one of the best investments in BNB and DeFi as a whole. And we got the VE Topaz marketplace, which is going to start getting to our menus in the next day or two. It's going to make VE Topaz more liquid. Super bullish for anyone that's holding VE Topaz or anyone thinking about buying into VE Topaz. Just having that ability to offload your position if you want to is going to make, again, a lot more people more willing to get into this investment. So very bullish for the ecosystem, and can't wait to see this get some more activity. And yeah, and of course, what we just went over, the Topaz migration plus new marketing strategy going live. Yep, I talked about that at the very beginning, but yeah, we have actually I didn't really touch on that too much at the beginning, but we have a whole content plan and a whole intricate marketing strategy that we're going to use to kind of break out of our I feel like we've got a really strong community, but we've really got to grow that community and keep bringing in new people into the community. So our messaging needs to kind of reflect that, and we've made some great plans and updates to kind of take everything that we've learned and everything that we've seen and kind of implement a new strategy that's going to be starting on Monday. So excited to see what that brings for Topaz and brings to our community and grows our user base and grows our ecosystem of users. Topaz cooking, always cooking, man, always cooking. I probably should have busted out the chef hat for today. Just had so many cooks to show you guys. So maybe next week. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions about anything that I've talked about or anything else Topaz related or otherwise. Yeah, super excited about this. Topaz Flow, me and the team, we were going over this for almost a week back and forth, just continuously improving it, trying to make it easier to understand, easier to interact with. And I think we've landed somewhere really, really nice. So the other two, I still want to do a little bit more work on the interfaces. But I mean, I think the marketplace is in a pretty good spot right now. I mean, I'll just say that the contracts for everything are bulletproof. Like I make sure the contracts are 100% before I even start touching the front end. So any of these updates that I'm talking about, it's just going to be, how things look and how you interact with things on the website. But yeah, the contracts are all 100% already. So you can play around with these things. You can enter them without worrying about something changing or, us having to redeploy. That's not going to be the case. Well, looks like we don't have any questions. So yeah, let's keep the momentum on Topaz going. Let's all do our part. Let's hold the price here. Let's acquire our positions here. It's still a very attractive price at $0.25 penny here. We still have let's take a look at it. We still have our bonus going on. So if you're locking Topaz for VE Topaz, you can get a 25% bonus. We're running out of the bonus though. Once the bonus is done, it's done for good. We've already given away 33.2 million out of the 50 million Topaz tokens that we are going to be distributing with this bonus. And there's another 4.3 million left at the 25% bonus rate. The rate's going to drop down to, I believe it's 20% for the final tier of the bonus. Oh, the cat just tried to refresh my screen. That wouldn't have been good. Are there any chance Topaz expands to other chains down the road? I mean, I don't want to say never. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity on BNB chain. So I think, BNB chain is our home. However, yeah, I don't want to, cut off possibilities for the future. So I guess time will tell, but it's a possibility. That's where that comment came from, Topaz chain. Don't tempt me, Dane. I love deploying chains. So yeah, great point, Stinger. We're doing weekly X spaces. So if you haven't joined one of those yet, they're called BNB Season. We're doing them on our Topaz DEX X account, and they are 1600 UTC on Tuesdays. So definitely set a reminder. We usually set those up a couple days in advance, I believe. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled on the Topaz DEX X account, and you should see that and be able to set a reminder. Topaz DEX, let's go. All right, guys. Well, I think I've covered everything, and the comments have slowed down. All right. Well, if any questions come up after the AMA, you guys know how to find me. Find me in the Telegram, or you can always get at me on X. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Remember, keep buying and locking that Topaz, and you can do it through Topaz Flow. Super simple now. And yeah, check out our new VE Topaz marketplace at ve.topazdex.com. And yeah, lots of big things coming for Topaz and the Topaz ecosystem. And can't wait to see what our new marketing initiatives will bring next week. And yeah, bright days ahead. So stay bullish, keep buying Topaz, and keep providing liquidity. And great things are coming in the future. So everybody enjoy the rest of your day. See you guys next time.